So, the San Antonio Spurs did not trade for Kevin Durant, but they're doing everything in order to build the right contender that can be a competitive squad now and in the future. With tremendous first round selections in Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant, the Spurs just added more young talent and even more depth to a team that already had the likes of Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, etc. First, let's start off with Dylan Harper's selection and how he helps the San Antonio Spurs next season and in the future. Many people might be confused as to why the Spurs made this pick, given the fact that the Spurs didn't necessarily need more guard play. I mean, the team already had Devin Vassell, drafted Stephon Castle in the top 5 last season in the 2024 NBA draft, and made a blockbuster move for De'Aaron Fox this past trade deadline. However, Harper was still the best pick here, not only because of his high ceiling, but also because his archetype as a bigger guard means that he can slide right in and play with different lineups in due time. First of all, Harper won't have to start right away, as the starting backcourt would project to be De'Aaron Fox at the 1 and the Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle at the 2. However, once Harper adjusts the speed of the NBA game and further develops his outside jumper, we could see Stephon Castle slide in at the 3. Dylan Harper at the NBA Draft Combine measured in at 6'4.5", weighed in at 213 pounds, and had a 6'10 wingspan. And last year, Stephon Castle measured in at 6'5.5", weighing in at 210 pounds, and having a 6'9 wingspan. I mention this because this size allows these two to play much bigger than their actual size, meaning Harper will have no problem moving in at the 2, and the stout defender in Castle can move to the 3, allowing the flexibility of a 3-guard lineup that features De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper. Staying on Harper, what makes him special and the best guard of this class is his combination of ball handling, ability in the pick and roll, overall playmaking, incredible finishing ability, great positional size, and potential as an outside threat. Before we continue, be sure to drop a like on the video as that greatly supports the channel, and be sure to sub for even more content like this. Dylan Harper is an excellent finisher at the rim, finishing at 70% at the basket in his lone season at Rutgers, and was in the 86th percentile as a finisher. He's not the most explosive athlete, but his handle, combination of dribble moves, pivots, utilization of the pick and roll, ability to accelerate and decelerate, and his repertoire finishes aid him in getting downhill and make him a force in the half court and transition. His size greatly aids him in this department as well, as he's very capable of finishing well through contact, and overall, the amount of rim pressure he creates opens more for him as a playmaker. He has a natural feel for the game, uses that rim pressure to set up bigs on dump-offs, is a more than competent player in the pick and roll as a playmaker and scorer, placing the 83rd percentile this past college season in that department, and is knowledgeable of where his teammates are on the floor. He isn't the greatest athlete, and his outside shooting could see improvement from the 33% that he shot in his lone season at Rutgers, but he's shown great promise as a pull-up 3-point shooter, which can definitely further unlock his game at the next level. As mentioned before, that great positional frame allows him to not only be a factor offensively, but it allows him to be a playmaker defensively with his 6'10 wingspan. With him still having untapped potential on that end, assuming we see more defensive improvement as an all-ball defender from him. Moving on to Carter Bryant, many people might look at his stats for this past season and feel underwhelmed, but with great size at 6'8", having a 6'11 wingspan, and having great athleticism, he projects to be a two-way impact player in San Antonio. Right off the bat, he can be an impactful defender with sky-high potential on that end, and is a needed presence at the 3 for this team. Another bonus is that he did shoot 37% from 3 this past season, but the worry here is obviously the fact that his usage and sheer volume from the outside on attempts wasn't ideal. I'm not saying that he'll automatically come into the league converting on 40% of his threes on 7 attempts a game, but the film, physical traits, and other factors make a gradual progress at the next level from the outside very promising. Looking at the depth for next season, the Spurs look pretty deep on paper with versatility on the defensive end. This Spurs roster boasts the likes of De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Julian Champagnie, Keldon Johnson, Carter Bryant, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sochan, and of course, Victor Wembanyama, which is a pretty good lineup if you ask me. If Wemby and De'Aaron Fox are healthy and good to go for next season, the Spurs are bare minimum a play-in team given the sheer talent that they have on the roster, and given how transformative Victor Wembanyama is individually. He was having the best shooting season from three of his career on the highest volume of his career, was an all-star, and would have made All-NBA and won Defensive Player of the Year if the blood clot issue didn't make him miss the 65-game mark. But now, in hearing promising news about his recovery, we can expect him to be an All-NBA performer that he was last season, and we can expect De'Aaron Fox to be an all-star guard that we know him to be. Fox came to the Spurs from Sacramento and looked impressive despite what the overall team record would suggest. He brought the rim pressure this team desperately needed, the creation and playmaking this team needed, and overall was just as advertised in the few games that he was able to play post-trade deadline when he also had to be sidelined near the end of the season. With Fox and Harper taking the floor for the Spurs, expect even more easier looks generated and even great operation in pick and roll with Victor Wembanyama. This isn't even accounting for the interim improvement we could see from Stephon Castle, who won Rookie of the Year and is far from reaching his ceiling. Castle's defensive prowess was on full display last season, and he was a fearless threat in attacking the rim and finishing through contact. The next step for him is obviously for him to improve in his outside shooting to be a better outside and off-ball threat as a whole. And this will go a long way in terms of opening up his game and also aiding him as a shot creator. Defensively, this team can be great for the future, again with the likes of Wemby, Castle, Carter Bryant, Dylan Harper, and of course, Jeremy Sochan, a player they've kept despite the team being linked to many players over the last few weeks. Sochan has good size at 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. We saw the Spurs deploy him on the opposing team's best players, both guards and forwards alike. Sochan was one of the best isolation defenders in the league last season, and I expect him to remain a strong contributor on that end. Guys, in the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts on the San Antonio Spurs and how they rocked the 2025 NBA Draft. What do you think is the ceiling for Dylan Harper? Do you see him in the mold of a Cade Cunningham, or is that too lofty of a comparison? Or where in general do you see his ceiling to be? All-Star, All-NBA? Let me know. And also, do the same for Carter Bryant. How highly of a wing do you think he can be in today's NBA? Comment down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video as that makes a massive difference for the channel, and sub for more content like this. Hope to see you all in the next one, and stay tuned. God bless.